morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your body and your mind and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to get comfortable and become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position on a block or blanket or a cushion, something that will allow the spine and back of your neck to sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present and return to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase like, let's get the sun out. Just kidding. To have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is yoga. So years ago, a friend was experiencing a lot of mysterious illnesses. She went through a battery of tests and medications, and nothing seemed to help. And then the doctor suggested that she try yoga. And as a full disclaimer, that happened to me as well as this friend. Her issues were medical, mine was stress related, and this was many, many years ago, before I even started yoga. And I couldn't get in to see a counselor, and the one that did return my call said, you should try yoga. I'm like, But anyway, I digress. So if you Google the benefits of yoga, I wish I had listened to her, as I should say. I wish I had listened to her, because it wouldn't have been an immediate fix, but in the long run, I wish I had started yoga way before the age of 60. I'll put it out there. So anyway, if you Google the benefits of yoga, many sites pop up from revered health institutions: Harvard Health, Johns Hopkins, Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, just to name a few. Even UVM Medical School has added yoga to its curriculum. So it's being taken by Western medicine as something that people should try and work. And that's probably why those doctors suggested it. So yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences, and they are the science of self. Developed over 5,000 years ago, yoga has been added to and subtracted from, but its philosophy has always remained the same: unity. The unity of mind, body, and spirit. The trifecta for wellness. So for pranayama, we talk about pranayama every week, and those are the breathing techniques. And if you Google those revered health institutions, they will have a separate section about pranayamas, and they even call them pranayamas, and they'll have different breathing techniques. And there are many out there that will benefit you when you're off the mat, just as these sites would suggest. But there is one specifically developed for the mat, and that's the Ujjayi breath. And this breath becomes the soundtrack of our practice. And there's a nice quote about the Ujjayi breath. It's like, or maybe all pranayamas, when we stabilize the breath, we stabilize the mind. So the Ujjayi breath in particular helps your heart rate slow, it improves your mood, and it boosts your immune system. So we'll actually do the Ujjayi breath once we're on the mat. And before we do that, we'll just have a short meditation session. And I have an affirmation for you. And the affirmation is, in this moment, my mind, body, and spirit are united. In this moment, my mind, body, and spirit are united. We'll just take a few moments. I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes and we'll start our asana practice. So as I mentioned, the Ujjayi breath is a soundtrack, and it's also called ocean breath because of the sound it makes within your throat. It's kind of like a Darth Vader sound. It's kind of like when you try to fog up a mirror, like, or it's even similar to like a very soft snore. And it's done with your mouth closed and breathing through your nose, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And you can hear the sound kind of resonate in the back of your throat. So we're going to start our asana practice, and I encourage you to use the Ujjayi breath and just really listen to that. You know, do the poses and the movements, but really tune in to that Ujjayi breath. So with our fingertips alongside of us, we'll start with some what I call sun breaths and chest openers. So inhale using that Ujjayi breath. Mine, because my arms went up quite slowly, I ran out of that sound before I even hit the top. So that's one way of testing. Maybe maybe I need to move my hands a little quicker. So, okay, palms together, down. Inhale and open the hands up. And then close them. Inhale up. And exhale down. So from that one session there, I could tell that my inhales are shorter than my exhales. So I'm going to try to just kind of work on the next few times, balancing them off. So I'm going to inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And have you go at your own pace and just again focus on that and see if you can balance off the inhales and the exhales by listening to them. Inhale. Alrighty, and we'll go on to our next asana. Again, I'm going to inhale, lifting my hands up overhead. And then twist the torso to the left and bring both hands down on the exhale. And then once they land, I'm going to lift them up on the inhale. Twist over to the right. And then on the exhale, bring the hands down. Create a nice flow where you can listen to your breath. And one last time, over to the side. And then back to center. So one thing the Ujjayi breath is that if you don't hear any sound, because sometimes this happens unconsciously, you're in a pose and you stop breathing. So if you're not hearing any sounds, like, oh, I stopped breathing. So that's a good way of utilizing that soundtrack. So the next one we're going to do is side stretches. So putting both fingertips out to the side. On the inhale, I'm going to lift the arm, I'm going to start with left arm, lift the left arm up. And then on the exhale, I'm going to bend my right elbow to the mat. And then I run out of the exhale, inhale, coming back up. And then exhale, bring the hand down. We'll do that on the other side. So inhale, lifting the right arm up. Exhale, bending the left elbow toward the mat. And then inhale, lifting up again. And exhale, bring the hand down. We'll do that one more time on each side. So inhale, lifting the left arm up. Exhale, bending the right elbow down. Inhale up. And then exhale down, setting your hand down. And one last time, right hand goes up on the inhale. Exhale, bending the left elbow toward the mat. Inhale up. And then exhale, bringing the right hand down. Then we'll come on to our hands and knees to tabletop. Tabletop, our wrists are right below our shoulders, knees right below the hips, navel's tucked to the spine. Have an even distribution of weight in both hands. Fingers are spread apart, kind of gripping the mat. Then we'll send our gaze to the right for head turns. And then send our gaze back to center and then over to the left. And then back to center, over to the right. Back to center, over to the left. Back to center, over to the right. Back to center, and one last time over to the left. And back to center. And we'll do some cat cows and listen to your Ujjayi breath on this as well. So we're going to exhale, rounding the back. Till you're fully, your exhale is fully released. And then lifting your head and tailbone up, inhaling, sending gaze straight ahead. And then exhaling again, rounding the back, sending the head and tailbone down. Inhale fully, sending the head and tailbone up, and gaze straight ahead. And rounding the back again on the exhale. And then inhale to cow. And one last time, exhaling to cat. Then we'll come back to tabletop. Begin with our hands right below our shoulders. We're going to lift the right leg up and send it back. And then lift the left arm up and send it forward. And really stretching that out. And then I'm going to bring a lifted knee and elbow together underneath our torso. And then stretch it back out again. So on the inhale, we're stretching out, and exhale, bring the elbow and knee together. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, knee and elbow together. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch out. And one last time, exhale, elbow to knee. And we'll switch sides. I have my knees a little bit apart, and you can bring them together or just make it adjusted to your sense of balance. So lifting the left leg up and then lifting the right arm up, extending it fully. And then on the exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching it fully out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching it fully out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching it fully out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching it fully out. And one last time. Exhale, elbow to knee. And then bringing both hands and knees back down. We're going to lower our hips to our ankles, coming into extended child's pose. Really stretching the hands forward on the mat. Bringing our forehead down toward the mat. And then we're going to kind of just dance with our fingers and dance them over to the right side. Dance and walk them over to the right side, keeping our forehead kind of towards the mat. So we're creating a side stretch on the left side. And just go as far as you can and listening to your breath. See when it becomes shallow and then stop. And then we'll walk our hands back to center. And then we'll walk them over to the left side. And dance and walk them over, creating that stretch in the right side. Till we hear our breath start to get a little shallow. And they kind of back up to find that nice even flow. And then we'll walk them both hands back to center. So with them hands in the extended child pose position, shoulder width apart, we're going to lift up to tabletop, bringing our shoulders over our wrists. So our knees are a little further back than under our hips. And we're going to tuck our toes under and lift our knees off the mat. So we're just kind of hovering above the mat. And then send the knees back down. We're going to go back to extended child's pose, lowering our hips to our ankles, stretching our hands out front. And then lift back up again, keeping our knees where they are. Bringing our shoulders right over our wrists. Tucking toes under and lifting the knees up and just hovering over the mat for a moment. And then bringing the knees back down to the mat. We're going to walk our hands all the way back. Our toes should be tucked under. And then coming up onto the balls of our feet. Pushing down, coming up to mountain pose. So bringing our big toes to the straight edge of the mat. We'll lift our toes up off the mat, spreading them apart and bringing them back down to the mat, lifting the heels off the mat and bringing them back down. Really feel that grounding, that connection, the solidness of the earth below us, the stillness and the strength that mountain pose provides. And it also provides the essentials of good posture. So with our legs nice and straight and strong, have a soft bend in the knees, navel's tucked to the spine, really elongating the back, spine and back of your neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin's ever so slightly tucked toward your spine, the back of your neck. And the crown of your head is reaching up toward the sky. We'll sweep our hands up overhead, a big inhale. And then exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go, support our lower back. And inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, straightening out our back, sending our gaze straight down, creating a nice long spine in the back of our neck for half forward fold. And then sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. And just release your hands, let them float in the air, and feel gravity take over the top part of your body. Just kind of let nature stretch you out a little bit. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. We'll come up on our tippy toes as our palms come together. And then we're gonna send our hands down and lower our heels at the same rate with control. We'll do this 2 more times, sweeping our hands up on the inhale, lifting up onto our tippy toes. Hands come together. And then exhaling, bringing our hands down, lowering our heels with control, back down to the mat. And one last time, sweeping up and all the way up onto the toes. And then exhale, lowering the hands and the heels back down. And send the hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, flattening out our back, the back of our neck, sending the gaze down. And sending the crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up again. This time keeping our feet flat on the mat. Palms come together. And palms come to heart center. We'll do a few leg lifts and kicks. So find a nice comfortable width for your feet, probably right below your hips. And then lifting the right leg up. And try not to tip too far to the left to balance that. Try to stay as upright, allowing your right leg just to lift, coming to a right angle. And then once it's lifted and you feel stable, we're gonna just do a few kicks. So just point your toes out and kick. We'll do that for a few moments. Really try to feel that stability in our other foot, that strength in our other leg supporting us. A couple more kicks. And then we'll put that right leg down We'll take a big inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead again. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. We'll do that on the other side. So you just kind of peel your left foot up off the mat and lift it into the air. Find that stability. And then we'll just do a few kicks. Bringing the toes, kicking out. Finding that drishti, if that helps to stabilize you. That spot that's stationary. And then we'll put our left leg down. Did feel like I was tipped over to the right a little. And then we'll sweep our hands up overhead. And then send our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. We'll place the left hand out in front of the left foot, keeping the left knee bent toward the left arm. We'll straighten the right leg as much as possible, and then sweep the right hand up to the sky. Forward fold with a twist. And then bring that right hand down. Place that right hand in front of the right foot, bending the right knee toward the right arm, straightening out the left leg, and sweeping the left hand up to the sky. And then back down again. And then we'll sweep both hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of the hips. Feet are about hip width apart. Fingertips are pointed down. We'll tuck our chin toward our chest. Relax the shoulders. And just send the shoulders back for a supported back bend. And this is the one I always suggest, listening to your Ujjai breath, so you know how far back is comfortable for you by listening to how strong your breath is. And then we'll come back upright. Well done. Danna. So sweeping our hands all the way up again. And then bringing them back down to the mat. Placing both hands on the mat. We're going to take our feet and bring them back into downward dog. So not all the way back, but just to downward dog. You get yourself aligned here where it's comfortable. Your hips are up to the sky. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. Fingers are spread apart with the index finger pointing toward the top of the mat. And pedaling out here. Trying to bring the heel down to the mat on your pedaling. And then we're going to lift the left leg up. Just bring it all the way up to the sky. Three-legged dog. And then bring it back. Pedal out for a moment. And then we'll bring that left leg up again to the sky. And then back down. And pedal out. And one last time, we'll sweep that foot all the way up to the sky. And then when we bring it down, we're going to actually bend the knee toward our chest and bring that left foot forward so it comes between our hands into runner's lunge. So the knee is right above the ankle. Your foot is framed by your hands. Back foot, you're on your toes, with the heel pushing back. And then we're going to pivot the back foot down and then raise the hands, pushing up into warrior one. The warrior one, you can either have your torso facing the right corner of the mat, or for a little bit more flexibility, facing the top of the mat. And then we'll bring our hands, both hands back down to the mat, back to runner's lunge, and bringing the left foot back to the right foot, coming into plank pose. Our wrists are right below the shoulders. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. Heels are pushing back. And then we'll bring ourselves down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping the elbows close to the side. And then we'll lift our hands up off the mat, sending our chin and chest up slightly for baby cobra. And then hands go back down on the mat, right below your shoulders, and keeping the elbows tucked to your side, gently lift the chin and chest up, coming into full cobra. And then keep pushing up to tabletop and then down to child's pose. And then we'll come back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, lift our hips up into downward dog again, and pedal out. We'll pedal out here for a little bit. And then we're going to do a few more leg lifts. So with the left leg, we'll just sweep it off the mat, lift it up toward the sky, and then bring it back down, pedal out a little bit. And then sweep it up toward the sky, and then back down to the mat again, pedal out again. And one last time, sweeping that left foot up to the sky. And as you bring it down, bend your knee, bringing your knee toward your chest, and then sending your left foot up between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. So once you're comfortable in runner's lunge, you're going to pivot the back foot down, and we sweep the right hand all the way up and over and come into warrior two. So our front knee is over our ankle, back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Our torso should be facing the long edge of the mat. And we'll still be able to see our big toe on the left foot. Arms are at shoulder height. And then sending our gaze over to our left fingertips. We'll lower the right hand down, lifting the left hand up to the sky for reverse warrior. And then coming back down, bringing the left forearm to the left thigh, sweeping the right hand up to the sky for extended side angle. Feel the strength of your legs and arms in this. And then bringing your right hand back down to the mat, pivoting, and coming back into runner's lunge. And then we'll send the left foot back, coming into plank pose again. And then slowly lowering down to the mat. This time we're going to send both arms alongside of our torso. Chin is on the mat. Palms are up. We're just going to lift the right leg up and then lower it back down to the mat and lift the left leg up and lower that back down to the mat for half locust. Bringing our hands under our shoulders. We'll lift our hands up for baby cobra. And then hands come back down to the mat. We'll gently lift our chin and chest up with our hands on the mat, pushing down, coming into full cobra. And then pushing up to tabletop, and then sending our hips down to our ankles for extended child's pose. And then come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lifting our hips back up for downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. And then we'll just slowly walk our feet up to our hands, coming into a forward fold, and sweeping our hands all the way up to the sky. Palms come together, and palms come to heart center. And we'll just lift our left leg up again so that we have that left leg at a right angle. And once you find your stability here, we're going to send that left leg in back of us into the air, coming into a version of warrior three. And we're keeping our hands together in Anjali Mudra, sorry. So we're gonna pivot at the waist, sending our left leg back, sending our gaze to a drishti on the mat or floor, keeping our hands at heart center. And then we'll bring it back to mountain. Well done. We'll do that on the other side. So, coming back to mountain pose. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And then sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale again. And then exhale, coming back down. Placing both hands on the mat. Sending both feet back into downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. And listen to your breath and activate that Ujjai sound. Letting it slow your heart rate down. Try to have nice, even breaths. And then we're going to lift the right leg up to the sky and then bring it back down and pedal out here for a moment. And then again, bring it right leg up to the sky and then back down again. My Ujjayi breath stops when the foot goes up to the sky. And then one last time, bringing that right foot up to the sky. Try to keep breathing. And then bring it back down, bending the knee. And then sending that right foot forward, coming into runner's lunge. And pivoting the back foot down Sweeping the hands up to the sky for warrior one. And you can be facing the corner, left corner of your mat, or straight ahead for a little bit more twist. And then bringing the hands back down to the mat, and bringing the right foot all the way back, join the left foot, coming into plank pose. And then down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Lifting our hands off the mat, chin is lifted up, chest is up for baby cobra. And then the hands go back down to the mat. Lift the chin and chest, gently pushing into the hands, coming up into cobra. And then pushing into tabletop, and then lowering our hips to extended child's pose. And we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, come back up into downward dog, and pedal out again. And then we'll lift the right foot up to the sky, and then lower it back down to the mat and pedal out. And then again, lifting it up to the sky, and then back down to the mat and pedal out. And one last time, lifting it up to the sky, and then bringing it down, bending the knee toward your chest, and then sending your right foot forward to runner's lunge. And once we're in the runner's lunge, we pivot our back foot down and sweep our left hand all the way up and over, coming into warrior two. Get nice and comfortable in the warrior two. Our torso facing the long edge. Front knee, you can just see your big toe, the edge of your back foot, nice and snug. Shoulders are relaxed, but the arms are straight out. Gaze is sent to the right fingertips. And then the left arm goes down toward the left thigh. Right arm goes up to the sky for reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. And then the right arm, forearm, comes down to the right thigh. We'll send the left hand up to the sky for extended side angle. And then the left hand comes down to the mat, pivoting on our foot. We're going to send our right foot back to the left. Oops, where am I? Oh, chaturanga. We'll lower down to the mat. And then bring our arms alongside of us, chin resting on the mat, hands facing up. We'll lift the right leg up, and then send it back down. Lift the left leg up, and send it back down. Bring our hands right below our shoulders, lifting them, the hands up off the mat for baby cobra. And then bringing the hands back down to the mat, lifting the chin, chest, and gently pushing into the hands coming up to full cobra. And then to tabletop. And then bringing our hips down to child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, tucking our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky. And we'll pedal out here for a few moments. And then we'll walk our feet slowly up to our hands, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, palms come together. And then palms come to heart center. And then we're going to lift our right leg up. Feel it off the mat, lifting it up so it sits at a right angle. And then we'll go into the warrior, kind of modified warrior 3 here, keeping our hands in Anjali Mudra. We send our right leg back, pivoting at the waist, finding a drishti. And then bringing that leg down. Well done. We'll take our pinky toes out to the edges, tucking our heels in at a 45-degree angle. We'll lower our hips down toward the mat, bringing our torso and our arms between our knees, elbows resting on the inner part of the knees. Going for a wide-legged squat. And then we'll bring our seat down to the mat and come into staff pose. So our legs are straight out in front of us, toes are flexing up to the sky. I'm going to push down with my little fists, lifting up and then coming back down. So really comfortable in this L shape of staff pose. Back is nice and straight and tall. And then bring our feet to the mat. Tuck our hands underneath our knees. And just lean back so you're on the back edge of your hip. And we'll do a few half boats. So you can keep your hands tucked under your knees as we drop the right foot down and then lift it back up. Drop the left foot down, lift it back up, and then drop both feet down and lift it back up. So you can do that, or you can release your hands and do that, or you can alternate, holding onto your legs and then releasing your legs. But we'll drop the right foot and then the left foot and then both feet, right foot, left foot, and both feet, right foot, left foot, both feet, right foot, left foot, both feet, right foot, left foot, both feet, and one last time, right foot, left foot, both feet, and tuck your hands under your knees and roll back onto the mat. Bring your knees to your chest and give them a nice hug and rock back and forth. And massage that lower back. And take your toes, make nice big circles with them. We had a lot of photographs this week of the strawberry moon. in a unique position where it was close to the earth, very large on the horizon. That was really cool. And then you could reverse your circle. Big strawberry moon circles. And then bring your knees back to your chest. Give them a nice hug again. And we'll extend our arms out at shoulder height. We'll go to a reclined twist. So with our knees bent toward our chest, we'll just exhale and drop them over to the right, keeping our gaze straight ahead for the moment. And then once they've landed, turn your head, your face, your eyes toward your left fingertips. And slowly bring your head back to center, gaze up to the sky. Inhale, lifting your legs back to center. And then exhale, dropping your legs over to the left side. And once they've landed, slowly turn your gaze to your right fingertips. And then slowly turning your head back to center, lifting your legs back to center, and bringing your legs all the way down to the end of the mat, preparing for Shavasana. Bring your heels to the corner edges of the mat and just let them flop open. Your arms are alongside at an angle, palms facing up. Shoulder blades are nice and relaxed and snug in the mat. Taking a big inhale, then exhaling through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Big inhale. And exhaling through the mouth. Just really releasing into the mat. One last time. Inhale. And then exhale. And just let your body relax into the mat. The poem I have for you this morning is by Danna Faulds, called or titled Yoga. Yoga is not about the pose. It's not the alignment of toes or hips or shoulders. It's not about the form. Yoga is an invitation to explore, not a command performance. It speaks the language of the soul. In the flow of breath and motion, yoga coaxes us from the confines of the known across the silent threshold into vastness. Yoga is the union of prayer and movement, guided from within. It is healing and the joy of saying yes to life. Breathe, relax, and feel the body receive its own truth. The seed of freedom flowers within us, within each of us, whenever we are open to what's real.